Alright guys, we are back with another video, and as the title of said video states, panic stations for everybody who dons the Manchester United shirt. And did I just say shirt? I mean shirt. I was about to say jersey, but no, it's a shirt. Jersey shirt, full kit wankers, whatever floats your boat. But besides that, it is panic stations in my little world, in my little Manchester United bubble, because Scott McTominay is a player that I think everybody knows. I don't rate him at all. I don't believe that he is Manchester United quality. I don't think he has the tools um, that is necessary to take Manchester United to the next level, to take them back to the very top, to compete for titles. I don't see him playing a pivotal, monumental part of a title winning team. And with talks about a new contract around being around the corner is a cause potentially for concern. And I know it's just one player, and maybe Ineos, they 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 weave their way around a few other land mines and sea mines and air mines, if you can call them air mines, if they even exist. Technically, drones nowadays are air mines, but even still, if we can avoid further disaster settings by stepping on all of the mines in the minefield, I think Scott McTominay getting a new contract is not it for me. We need somebody that is taking front and centre stage, that is a quality that not only Ten Hag needs, or whoever the manager needs. I mean, if we want to talk about a Scott McTominay player, or a Scott McTominay manager, I mean, maybe Gareth Southgate and Scott McTominay are a match made in heaven. And you know what? It's like the four horsemen of the apocalypse or something. Two of them is Gareth Southgate getting the Man United job, and you could say one of the other horsemen is mediocre players, the ones that all the rivals laugh at us for having, get new contracts, and they get seated in the comfy seats, while all the other players that would actually have a future or give Manchester United a plausible future get booted out the back door, removed silently, out of sight and out of mind. So I'm a little bit concerned with the prospect of Scott McTominay getting a new contract. I think I don't think his contract is up in this summer. I think it's next summer that he. I'll actually double check that. How long? Um, so yeah, next season, June 2025. So I mean, we talk about contract extensions for various other players such as Victor Lindelof's and Aaron Wan-Bissaka's, and I think it was Hannibal Mabry's as well, who their contracts were set to expire in the summer. And perhaps I reckoned maybe it's just to add another year for the sake of being able to sell for a reasonable fee in the summer to make some headroom, but to add a little bit onto the transfer budgets to get rid of players that have been here for too long and replace them with fresh, younger, more talented, and players that have a stronger desire to win and to give everything for the shirt. So I think it's just a default that I think this club needs to really adapt, become a part of, just default to that. Players that aren't good enough, they're they're on the way out. Players that have been here for too long, on the way out. Players that genuinely deserve to be here and deserve the wages that they're on, they're the ones that get to stay. So there's a huge amount of players that are technically technically speaking, by those parameters, are on the sell list. Make no mistake about it. Most of that squad is on the sell list. So yeah, I think Scott McTominay is just it's a move to make when I think I don't know. I don't know how to feel about, like, what to actually make of this. Like, what it is that people are thinking, because it's got to stink of people saying, but look how hard he works. Look how much pride he has in the shirt. Like, pride and hard work can take you a long way, but this is the Premier League, and he's getting outclassed by players in the same position as him many, many times. And many of those players are from teams that don't compete even in the top half of the table. How have we come to this? How have we come to this? Scott McTominay, I don't doubt, you know, he'd happily run 10,000 miles for Manchester United and do it with a grin on his face, despite probably dying inside whilst doing it. But man hasn't got the talent. He hasn't got the talent. We need to see talented players that put in the hard work. We need to see a player like Marcus Rashford put in the hard work. And the thing is that there's too many players that we've got that tick one box but not the other. And we need to have players that are working to ticking both of those boxes. But we don't have that. We don't have that. And it's a problem. It is a big problem. Scott McTominay is in that bracket. And it sucks because if Scott McTominay was even half as good as, say, a Rodri, I mean, that would be decent. He'd be a decent player. Like, if he's technically that much better, and he has the same passion and heart that he has for the shirt currently, I have no doubt in my mind that he'd be a phenomenal player for Manchester United. He would. But the letter of the law, the fact of the matter is that he's not. So for me, he features on a sell list, but the club don't necessarily see it that way. They see value in him. I don't get it. People might try to justify it. Go ahead and justify it by all means. Go right ahead. Satisfy yourselves. Your quench that those guilty pleasures that you have. People that dream about Scott McTominay the same way Top Gooners dream about Kai Havertz at night, or the snot rag on top of a Norwegian's head. Suspected hair flicks. I can almost do that, by the way. I've almost got long enough hair to flick my hair a bit. Maybe I should start doing that on everyone else's stream, getting my expected hair flicks rating up. Maybe I'll actually make it as a professional footballer that way. Without actually kicking a football, if I show people that I can flick my hair really well, they might just be like, no, he's definitely one of those players. He's got the aura. He's got the aura. I tell you, he's got the aura. But yeah, it's an absolute disaster. But yeah, personally, Scott McTominay getting a new contract? Not it for me. Not it at all. We'll briefly cover a couple of other players that have been spoken about as far as transfer links to Manchester United. A few perhaps expected ones. Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. A relatively good right back. He's a bit more attacking minded. Perhaps a little bit suspect from a defensive capacity. You could almost say he's a little bit like Tyrell Malacia. I do feel like there's similarities there because Tyrell Malacia was he's definitely that sort of attacking minded player, and for me, it feels like Ten Hag. If it was up to him, he'd have Malacia on one side and then Frimpong on the other. I mean, if you are Ten Hag, why not? If you've got somebody who plays the fullback position the way that you want to, and he's good on the ball, it's another Ten Hag player to occupy the right back position. Tyrell Malacia would be a Ten Hag player to occupy left back, but the guy's practically dead. The guy's literally injured, and his apparently his mental health is, he's not in the right headspace at the moment. And for a professional athlete that wants nothing more than to play for your football club, not being able to play for your club, and whilst you're just about to get back, you then get a new problem, and you just keep staying away and away and away, and you just can't catch a break. As a professional athlete, as someone who's practical, young player, right? And I do believe this with younger players, because younger players, you're hungry to get as much game time as possible to improve your career, to improve yourself as a player, as an individual. And if you're constantly getting injury after injury after injury, and without actually getting any return to even so much as the training pitch, it's going to do a number on your mental game. It's just it's just drastically unfortunate that Malacia, it turns out his body's practically made of glass, and it's not like, the thicker glass is that you can probably knock it a bit, and the worst it will do is crack. This is like sugar glass. It's like you look at it the wrong way and it breaks. Like it sucks. It really sucks. Another player that's been mentioned as well, Adrian Rabiot. Apparently Ten Hag, a Ten Hag fan favourite. He likes him supposedly, and with various links, I think this would probably be the third summer in a row that we get linked to Adrian Rabiot, and I don't really see the fuss. I don't really see the fuss in Adrian Rabiot. Maybe it's more the same sort of position that Ericsson would play on the pitch, you know. So as your more sort of like ball carrier, um, someone to just play a default possession style of football. For me, I've never really rated Rabiot all that highly. So I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but for me, I don't see it with him. I don't see it with him. That and his wage demands are quite lucrative, so I don't think Ineos would be on the same page per se uh, with the idea of going to sign Rabiot, and it's probably going to have to be the case of compromise for Ten Hag, because even if he is a fan favourite of Ten Hag's, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, as in the famous words of The Rock, it doesn't matter what you think. Um, you know, take our player instead. Take the player that we recommend you. That the guys that are, I suppose, for this summer, it's going to be the case of the alleged professionals. We're going to get another summer of Murto madness. I know it. I absolutely know it. That guy should be unemployed right now. But anywho, talking of player, another player. Um, let's have a quick check. Oh, as this is a dawning story today. Ivan Toney. Word on the street is that Manchester United's supposedly entering a race for Ivan Toney. Now, I'm not necessarily against the idea of signing Ivan Toney, but thinking about the way in which Ineos have spoken about their approach to transfer business, I don't really see a necessity for needing to go after Ivan Toney when there's probably market alternatives that will be cheaper. whilst they probably might assess the situation, they might open preliminary discussions and talk about the possibility of trying to make a saving, a buck saving here, a buck saving there, to bring the price demand for Ivan Toney down. To be quite frankly honest, I think Brentford will play hardball with a lot of teams. They will play hardball. They'll say, "Well, yeah, we'll sell them. We'll sell them to you. We'll sell them to you. Hand over 100 million." And splashing 100 million pounds on Ivan Toney is not something that Manchester United, in this current position, we can't really afford to do that right now. I think if we're trying to scrap sale money together to plot out a summer transfer window that can even be remotely half decent, I don't think you would want to splash the cash, or at least that much cash, on Ivan Toney up top. Maybe if he was like 70, maybe they would consider it more so. But listen, if there's going to be an asking price, I'm more than happy to bet. I see you, Ivan. I'm more than happy to bet that they will table £100 million and say, right, first bidders, where you at? And maybe Arsenal are the ones that put the money down, quite possibly. So, I mean, you guys tell me, is 100 million? What would you reckon a realistic fee for Ivan Toney is? And if you are a Manchester United fan, what do you reckon the maximum we should be paying for a striker given our financial situation? How far would you be willing to go as far as spending cap goes for a single player? We might have to pay big bucks. We might, most likely, but is Ivan Toney the right guy for that job? He may be, he may be not. You guys can let me know in the comments. Do be sure to share your thoughts and feelings about all sorts of matters, not just the ones we discuss here, but if there is something else as well that has crossed your mind, please feel free to pop it into the comments. I'm sure if there's a damning enough story, I'm sure I could make another video on that. So yeah. But yeah, in terms of my verdict, for me, I'd maybe consider the Ivan Toney deal if it's brought to roughly about 70 million. Because there's already talks about there being a release clause for Michael Olise that sits somewhere around 60 million. I think it is about 60 million pound. So I think that's a reasonable amount of money spent on another midfielder / wider player in the attacking positions, plus Premier League proven. I think it's a reasonable fee for Michael Olise. Bit injury prone, and I mean, Manchester United are not really that much better. But hopefully, sports science comes into the fray from Ineos and improves player fitness, but also the medical facilities, treatments, body management. I think that things like that. If we can improve that, then I think good things, only good things can happen. And maybe just maybe, get rid of this Arsenal insider. Literally, the guy's literally like a KGB agent working inside the UK government. The man's an imposter. He's coming from Arsenal and has given us one of our worst injury records of all time. One of the worst injury records ever in Manchester United's history. Thanks for that. But yeah, do be sure to let me know what you guys think about transfer stories and what you guys think about the links for Manchester United, because I know that I always default back to the conversations that we haven't really got a director of football yet. So plans right now kind of like really make a whole heck of a load of sense. But with that being said, we can still indulge in the news and give our verdicts on what we think about the story and, you know, how it would make us feel. We can talk in the hypothetical. You know, what if this player was to be signed? What would it entail? You know, what would the fan response be? Um, so yeah, I mean, we can we can make conversation out of it, even though I don't think it's necessarily anything that's realistically going to happen given the circumstances of our board structure at the moment. I still think personally, you know, there's stuff to be worked on, but let's have a little bit of fun with these transfer stories and indulge in them a little bit. But yeah, as moral of the story, title header of the show: Scott McTominay new contract, please God no. Anyways, guys, make sure to hit them likes on the video. That would be most appreciated. It was going to be on the Anfield Uncle Rod's show tonight at 9 p.m. However, the show's been moved now to next Monday, again 9 p.m. So, well, unfortunately, no live stream show today, but hopefully next week. There is also the Wednesday night, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all of that good stuff. I think episode 11 of that show. So it's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting week. Premier League football next weekend is back. And Brentford away, I believe, as well. So it's not an easy return, I'm telling you. Not an easy return. Also got England versus Belgium tomorrow night. Another trial run for Ineos to realise, see it with your own two eyes. Gareth Southgate, you must revoke him, retract his name off of your shortlist. He is not worthy of any managerial job within the top 50 leagues of any club. Fuck it. Top 50 leagues in the world, yeah, ain't fit for management. It's like Wayne Rooney, for crying out loud. It's like Wayne Rooney. The guy, like, don't know how much as a player, but at least with Wayne Rooney, he was a fucking sick player, like genuinely sick player. Gareth Southgate is like the bad manager, bad player, shit manager. Like, you just can't win with this guy. You just cannot win. But anyways, guys, put your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section below. We'll pay attention to the news as it comes in as well. And if there is a damning enough story that comes out, we will either go live or we'll post a video. So do be sure to keep your eyes peeled, your notification bells switched on. And yeah, so if I do pop something out there, I'll be sure to ring your bell. But anyways, guys, big ups to everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Monday nights, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Goodbye, and we'll see you.